Hey guys, what's up? I'm Destiny. This is Monday Mail number 21. First question this week comes from Pokemon Challenges. Can you name 2 or 3 of your favorite albums of all time and explain what you like about them? This is an impossible question for me to answer, I think. It's very rare that I'll like an entire album. Very often I'll like songs off of an album. If I had to pick like 2 or 3, two of my favorite albums probably of all time would be from Toei. I think that's how you pronounce her name. The album For Long Tomorrow. There are a couple of like really sick songs off of that album. The track 6, Two Moons, and then track 11, I think it just says Goodbye, are probably my favorite songs on that album. Explain what you like about them. I mean, that's a really hard thing to get into, I guess, depending on what level of vocabulary you want to use there, in terms of how much you want to actually dig into the music. I think if you've listened to music on my stream a lot, you probably have like a general idea of the kind of stuff I listen to. And I don't know. I guess it's really hard to explain like why does anybody like the type of music they like. For Toei, I just really like. This is really clusterfucky. I don't know. I don't really know how to put it into words, I guess. I don't know. Why does anybody like the music they like? It's not really the modally kind of stuff I listen to. This is an album that I found a long time ago. The songs just sound cool as fuck. I don't know. Check it out, man. Damn. I'll link in the description. I'll link the YouTube playlist, I guess, for this kind of music. It's like post-rockish Japanese stuff from a long time ago. I want to say this album. When did this album come out? 2009. Oh, I guess that's not that long ago. It's kind of long ago. 6 years, you think? 7 years, but yeah, that's probably one of my favorites just because of those 2 songs. The next favorite album I would have to go, I don't know, if I were to pick like something a little bit more mainstream, I think Kanye's hold on, there's like 15 different adjectives here. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was a sick as fuck album. I really, really, really liked that album. I thought all of the songs were sick. The rapping was fine. The album itself was like really ambitious. You had a lot of longer songs on here. You had a lot of kind of odd structures for some of the songs. Like the guitar solo in Devil in a New Dress, followed by, another verse. In terms of like more mainstream albums, and I guess if you're into like the rap memes or whatever, I really like that album. I think that was pretty cool. And if I were to pick out other favorite albums, I guess the problem that I have when I try to pick out like a favorite album is like usually what I do when I find a song I like, I'll try to find the band, and then if I find the band, I'll listen to their discography, and then I'll try to find albums I like, and then what happens is I'll play down an album until I'm pretty much completely and totally sick of it and never want to hear it again. So it's really hard to say like, oh, this is my favorite album of all time, because I can't usually listen to something on end for like weeks and weeks without getting a little sick of it. And there's been like tons of different albums that I've played a ton on stream and then not really as much anymore. Right now I'm really digging Bad Bad Not Good. The album 3 was my favorite album. I hated 4 when it came out. I don't know, I just didn't like any of the songs. But then I've been listening to 4 more and more, and now I really like 4. I think I like 4 more than 3. Actually, I easily like 4 more than 3. So I'm really looking forward to their next album. And then I listen to that one track on YouTube sometimes, the Red Bull Academy one, or the Red Bull Recording Studio one, which is pretty cool too. I don't know. I've talked a lot before on stream about like what it is that I like in music, and there's so much to go into if you want to get into like a really in-depth discussion, and then you have to lay out like a lot of ground terms, in terms of like, well, what does it mean to be modal? What does it mean to have a functional chord progression? What does it mean to, when I say certain types of sounds, what am I talking about? And it's possible to do. Maybe at some point I'll put out a YouTube video, I guess, kind of explaining it. I don't know, just because I know there are a lot of people that have the same type of taste that I have, but I don't know how to put it into words necessarily. So maybe having that helps them find more music. I mean, it did for me, but yeah. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and then For Long Tomorrow as my top 2. But it's not like a hard list, I don't think. I mean, that could easily, depending on my mood, switch out for anything else, depending on how I'm feeling. Fair Youth by Maybe She Will is a really sick album too. I'm not sure. Let's go with that. My answer's pretty indecisive there, but that's a pretty hard one for me to answer, I think. The second question is by Shaliber. aka Tally76 in chat. He said, how responsible do you think a streamer should be for the actions of their chat? For example, Ice's chat just repeat nigger ad nauseam, and he was recently banned. When is it Twitch's role to curate actions, and how much should be expected of a streamer before Twitch must step in and punish the streamer for not doing enough? An optional double dip, is Ice too far gone to be redeemed, or do you think he can stop the spam? This is a question that content creators have wrestled with probably since the dawn of time, probably will always continue to wrestle with. How responsible are you for the actions of your fans? I don't know what the correct answer is. You can watch other people. There's a lot of other people that wrestle with what is the correct answer, you know? Dave Chappelle had an interview with Oprah. It's really good to watch. I know that Eminem has talked with it before, talked about, you know, like using the word faggot and whatnot with Anderson Cooper. Chris Rock has talked with it about, you know, his performance of nigga versus nigger. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot. This is a really, really tough one to answer. I guess. So I'll just answer from my perspective. I don't really know. One thing that I haven't thought about recently that I need to revisit. I don't really know what is my goal in life in terms of interacting with people. I guess when I was younger, I used to think my goal was always to leave somebody better off than when I met them. Not in like a fixer up kind of way, but just that any interaction with me would be a net positive to their life, whether it's making them feel better about themselves or, you know, learning something that they didn't know before, or I don't know, or laughing, you know, something like that. And I guess when I look at fan bases, I mean, I feel to some extent somewhat responsible for what goes on in terms of what your fans do or what your fans think, especially like if you're watching me for, you know, 6+ hours a day or even a few hours a day every single day, that's a lot of time that you're spending with me. And whatever I say, whatever my mannerisms are, whatever my thoughts are, invariably some of that is going to leak over, right? So the responsibility that a content creator has is going to be a little bit different than the responsibility of like you to your friends, right? Because I have potentially thousands or tens of thousands, I guess, depending on if you count YouTube or whatnot, right? Of people that are going to listen to me and copy some of the things that I say for better or for worse. So it's something that I think deserves attention. I know that you have some people, I mean, maybe like the Richard Lewises that might say something like, well, you know, everybody is an individual and everybody can think what they want and you're not responsible for what some idiot crazy guy does, blah, 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 blah. But I don't think that that's a very realistic view. And I don't think anybody truly believes that, right? Certain people attract certain types of people, and, you know, certain messages that reverberate through your stream, you know, can set the trend for how people interact with other people in your stream and your community and how they interact with people in real life to some extent, you know. If you see somebody spamming or making racial jokes over and over and over and over again, or somebody saying faggot over and over and over and over and over again, right? If you normalize these are behaviors that people are likely to carry with them into the real world. For certain individuals, it's easy to say that it's not a big deal. Like, for me, and I know some people, if they said like faggot or whatever, I really don't care. I know these people don't hate, you know, gay people. It's not like I'm not losing sleep at night because, you know, I know some guy that's not homophobic at all, you know, is saying the word faggot. But when I think of the fact that there are people that come into my stream and these people may genuinely be homophobic and then they hear me say something like faggot and they take that with them, I have to wonder, like, am I reinforcing some kind of incredibly negative behavior? Like, I'm not sure. And I think the way with like I think that way with like social views and everything as well, you know. Like, I don't like. It's a really difficult question. Like, how much should you talk with your stream about these kinds of behaviors? How responsible are you if, you know, they do fucked up shit? I don't know. I feel like the content creator has quite a bit of responsibility over it. If you sit there and you exhibit a certain type of behavior over and over and over and over again on stream, and then your fans begin to exhibit that behavior, and people are like, yo, this is some bullshit. Like, people are acting like this, you know? I don't think that the distributor can just go like, oh, well, it's not my fault. I didn't do anything, you know? I mean, even though it's kind of not their fault. You get what I'm getting at? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that there should be like a direct responsibility. I think that that's kind of crazy, but I think that you have kind of like a moral or ethical responsibility to your fan base to not be totally fucking crazy or to try to exhibit positive behaviors that you would want carried forward. That's just my opinion. I understand there's a lot of people that would disagree with that assertion, but yeah. From the Polecat, this is the third question. Do you think the amount of time you spent on do you think the amount of time you spent on politics on your stream has had a positive impact, made at least a few people more politically aware? Do you plan on keeping up with politics now that the election hype is slowing down? This is a really difficult one. I made a tweet a few days back. I think I even pinned it. Oh no, I have a meme pinned. Something along the lines of, if you don't, I understand that there are a lot of people, especially in the gaming community. I know that there are going to be a lot of people that disagree with a lot of shit that I say, especially when we start talking about social issues. And maybe it sounds like I'm a fucking idiot. I guess like this is what I would say to people that have those types of thoughts. If you've listened to me, and I get emails like this all the time, I get emails, I get Twitter DMs, I get people YouTube commenting. If you've watched my content for a long time and you thought, wow, you know, Steven's a pretty reasonable guy. I like that he argues everything really logically. I like that he thinks, you know, about all these things. But he's such a fucking idiot. He's so fucking retarded when it comes to this. He's so fucking stupid. If that's your thought pattern, like, I guess I would encourage you to take a moment and just think a little bit harder. If you agree with me on almost everything, or if you agree with me on so many things, or if you think that I at least put forth a valid opinion on so many things, but for one social issue or whatever, for affirmative action or for privilege or for social justice warriors, whatever you want to call it, right? If you're like, oh my God, Dusty's just so fucking wrong here. He's so fucking clueless. Like, well, take a break, stop for a second and think, if I said so many other reasonable, rational things before, maybe I might not be right here, and maybe you don't agree with me. That's fine. But at least I probably have some type of argument or some type of experience that would give me an argument to put forth that you would disagree with that deserves a little bit more consideration than why did you become such a fucking retarded social justice warrior, libcuck white knight? You know, like, yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to continue on with the politics talk or not. I think that, I don't know, I guess I don't want to create like an army of drones. I don't really want everybody to become the same as me. I guess I just want some people, there are things that I know to be true inside of my mind that I wish that other people knew to be true. Even if we don't necessarily agree on applications of things, there are things that, like, in terms of everybody, when people, I feel like I could have made like a 15-minute video on each of these questions. When somebody says something like that guy that I argued with, I don't remember what his name was, Jim or whatever, that everybody that agreed with him was supposed to, like, oh, Destiny got raped. When people like him say things like, everybody has a choice to do what they want, everybody can just choose to do whatever they want. When people say things like that, like, I know with every fiber of my being that is like one of the most incorrect statements you could ever make. And I guess that, like, trying to find ways to get people to understand that, even if they don't necessarily agree with affirmative action, or even if they don't necessarily agree with how things play out, but like getting people to think about different issues in different lights, I guess is like a really big goal of mine. But one of my problems is I get so combative when I deal with people that make like crazy absurd statements like that I instantly become, I turn into a form of argumentation that makes it impossible for my opponent to ever want to agree with anything I say, because I end up coming off as like really arrogant or condescending. I don't know, maybe I've thought about making like fucking, I don't really want to make social issue videos because I feel like other people do it a million times over on the internet. But then I also feel like people do it and they do it like in a really condescending way that nobody that disagrees with them would ever believe. And I feel like as somebody that's been in both places, because I am over the past 5 to 6 years of my life, I have spanned a great deal of the social and political spectrum. Like in terms of social issues and economics, I would say, like I've moved pretty far from one direction to the other. So I feel like I have like decent perspective in terms of talking to people on both sides, I think, because I understand like what would you have to say to somebody on a certain side that would make them like really fucking irritated versus what would you say to someone on the other side, that would make them understand more what you're saying. And I see things on both sides that both people do, like when you get people that are tweeting shit like, like kill all white people, but it's not racism. It's like, well, dog, is that really the way that you're going to bring more people onto your side? Like, even if you're right, is that really the best way to go about that? So I don't know if we'll do politics per se. It's going to be kind of hard not to, especially now that I've gotten so involved. And especially with, the circus that is Trump, going on for the next few months. I guess we'll see what happens. I think I'll probably start hitting up social issues more just because there are things that I do feel strongly about. And I do feel like I'm in a really unique position and that I am somebody that does gaming. I'm somebody that's pretty left-leaning socially, but I used to be very right-leaning socially. And I feel like I could communicate my ideas verbally better than most people. Maybe not better than most YouTubers. I'm not sure. I would have to go and watch how they set up things. But yeah, I'll probably start chewing through some social issues at some point. I just have to actually mentally and emotionally prepare myself for the comment section in any video where I try to address a social issue. Yeah, I'm not sure. Anyway, I don't know if my goading last time encouraged you guys to submit more questions. There's 167 comments posted on the last Monday mail. I'm probably, I kind of want to structure these differently. I don't know. Fuck. I feel kind of bad. I'm not sure if maybe like I could dedicate like a full hour to these. I don't know if that would be something interesting, like an hour long Monday mail every Monday if the questions warrant it, or if I should be aiming for like a 5 to 15 minute sweet spot. I think most of these are settling in at around 10 to 20 minutes, like in between there, which seems to do okay. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll try a longer one next week, depending on what goes on in terms of the questions or how I feel, and I'll try to give like more of a prepared answer, I guess. But like look them over so we can talk about them at length. Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess let me know how you feel in the comments, or don't, and you can downvote me and talk about how much you hate me, depending on where you're coming from. I appreciate it. I love you guys. We'll see you later. Have fun. Peace out.